So let's look at some more practice questions and see how you can go about it. You're at liberty to use a calculator for some of these many questions that we are going to look at. So I've got 4 problems, but of course, they're segmented into various parts. So it says evaluate. In this case, if you look at our solution, so if you look at our first part there, it says evaluate. So they have given us a scenario 5 raised to the power 2 multiplied by 5 raised to the power 3. We can apply that rule of exponent that we talked about. If the bases are the same, you just take the base, then what do you do to the power? You add them, so it will be 2 plus 3. So it is going to be 5. 2 plus 3 will give us 5. But what does 5 raised to the power 5 there mean? What does that mean? It simply means you multiply the base 5 times, so it will be 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. That's what it simply means. Now, of course, we can use our calculator because I'm dealing with, slightly bigger values. So I can just say 5 raised to the power 5 on your calculator, and that is going to give you 3,125. So that's the value that they wanted you to get. Look at the B part there. It says 3 raised to the power 2 times 3 raised to the power 4 multiplied by 3. If you notice, they all have the same bases. Now, if you have just been given a number like 3, there's nothing there. It simply means there's a 1. So it's like the number that I've actually been given here, there's a 1, if they have not written it there, because we do not indicate 1. So because the bases are the same, you can simply take the base. Then what do you do to the power? Because you're multiplying, you simply add them. So it will be 2 plus 4 plus a 1 there. So it will be 3 raised to 2 plus 4, that's a 6 plus 1, that will be to the power 7. Of course, you can work out that. What does that mean? It means you multiply 3 7 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 3. So that's what it simply means. So multiply it 7 times. But of course, on the calculator, it is very easy. You just say 3, then you say raised to the power 7 there. So that is going to give you, when you calculate, 2,187. So that's the value that you are getting there. All right. Let's look at number 1C for problem number 1C that we do have there. The C part there says, 2 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 2 times 2 raised to the power 5. Remember what I said? If at all they don't indicate, there's no exponent there, it simply means there's a 1. So because the bases are the same, we can apply the rule, and we are multiplying. It simply means we can just add the exponent. So 1 plus 2 plus a 5. So it will be 2. 1 plus 2, that's a 3. 3 plus 5 will give us 8. And what does that mean? If you look at this one, it simply means multiply to 8 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8. That's what it simply means. But of course, like I said, we are just practicing, so you can use your calculator there. So 2 raised to the power 8 is going to give us a 256. Remember, these I'm putting up are not equal signs. No, I'm just showing that the problem, continues in that direction. That's what I mean there. So that's the way you can actually work out, problem number 1. Let's do some further practice. If you look at question problem number 2 there, it says evaluate. They have given us, 4 raised to 1 over 2. Remember what we said? The number at the bottom becomes a root. So it's the square root of 4. And what is the square root of a 4? It is actually just a 2. Now, square root can either be positive or negative. That's what you need to remember. It can either be positive or negative. So your solution there can either be a positive or a negative 2. That's what we mean there. So that is basically the idea if you want it that way. But of course, if you're not satisfied, you can just get the positive part of the root and just say it is just 2. Yeah, but of course, square root can either be positive or negative, even when you're dealing with that. So 16 raised to 3 over 4 there, what does that mean? Remember that 4 becomes a root, so it is going to be the 4th root of 16. Whatever that you have, raised to the power 3. But I want to be clear and tell you something about this. This can be written as the 4th root of 16 raised to the power 3. And that simply means if you want, you can start, if you want, by squaring 16 raised to the power 3, then find the 4th root, it's the same, or find the 4th root, then you raise it to the power 3. It is just one and the same. The answer will just give us the same. Don't worry about that. The 4th root, what is that number when you multiply it 4 times? It will give you 16. It's a 2, but raised to the power 3. Remember, 2 raised to the power 3 means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and that is going to give us 8. So that's the final solution, that we do have there. All right, that's what we mean. Let's look at the B part there, question number 2B. So for question number 2, question number 2C, sorry. Question number 2C says 27, 2 over 3. Remember, the 3 will become the root. So because it's a 3, it's a cube root. That's what we call it. So it's a cube root of 27. Whatever you get there, you raise it to the power 2. The cube root of 27 means, what is that number when you multiply it 3 times? It will give you the number 27 inside. It's a 3, but this 3 will be raised to the power 3. And what does 3 raised to the power 2 mean? It means 3 times 3, which is going to give us a 9. So 9 is our final answer that we do have. D says 9 raised to negative 1 over 2. Remember what we say, that negative, according to the rule, may I just remind you, if you have got a negative 1, if you have raised to negative n, that negative can become 1 over a raised to a positive index. So we can get that negative will become a 1 over 9 raised to 1 over 2. Now the bottom part, you can apply that rule. You can apply the rule where we say a 1 over n, and that becomes the square root, the nth root of a. So that's what we can do. So it will be 1 over, in this case it is going to be the square root of 9. And what is the square root of 9? It's a 3. So it will be 1 over 3. So this is the final solution that we are getting. But remember, it can either be positive or negative. But of course, if you want, you can just be taking the positive part of the root. There's no problem with that. I hope you are getting the concept of what we are trying to do there. Let's look at problem number 4. Problem number 4 there. That should be problem number 3. Find the value. So they want us to find the value. Now, of course, when they tell you 7 raised to the power 5, that is divided by 7 raised to the power 3. Remember what we said, because the bases are the same and you are dividing, what do you do to the powers? Remember what I said, if you have a raised to the power n divided by a raised to the power n, because the bases are the same, get the base, you subtract the powers. And that's exactly what we are doing there. So it will be 7, it will be 5 minus 3. And what is 5 minus 3? It's a 2 there. And 7 raised to the power 2 means 7 times 7, which is going to give you a 49. So 49 is the final answer that we are getting there. All right. The same thing applies there. We have got 5 raised to the power 7 over 5 raised to the power 4. Because the bases are the same, you get the base, then what do you do to the powers? You subtract. So it will be 7 minus 4. So it will be 5. 7 minus 4 give you a 3. What is 5 raised to the power 3? It means the base should be multiplied 3 times. So 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 5 will give you 125. Then that's your solution. That's your solution that you have. So remember, it is important for you to remember the laws of exponent. If you didn't check out my other video, please, you can go back and check it out, because you need the concept that I taught you so that you are able to answer such questions. Let's look at our last problem there. It says evaluate A. It says 5 raised to the power 2 times 5 raised to the power 3 divided by 5 raised to the power 4. You can see the bases are the same, which is good. There's multiplication and there's division, which is good. We can apply the law of exponent. So remember, we are going to get the base, which is 5. When you are multiplying, because between these I'm multiplying, what do I do to the powers? You add them. So it will be 2 plus 3. And between this and that I'm dividing, what do you do to the powers? You subtract. So I'm going to say minus 4. So this is going to be 5. 2 plus 3 is a 5 minus 4. So it will be 5 raised to the power 1, which is finally going to 5 raised to the power 1 will give you a 5. Thank you so much. I hope you are getting the concept and you're seeing exactly what I'm doing. So this is the way you can simply go about it. Let's do our last one, which is the B part there, which is that can be written as 3 times 3 raised to the power 5 over 3 raised to the power 2 times 3 raised to the power 3. Because the bases are the same, what do? Of course, you just need to add the power. So it will be 3, 1 plus 5 at the top. Then at the bottom there, you just add the powers, which is 2 plus 3 there. So if you look at this one, it will be 3, 1 plus 5 will give you a 6 over this 2 plus 3 will give you a 5. Because we are dividing there, you get the base. What do you do to the power? You subtract 6 minus 5. So it will be 6 minus 5 is a 1, and eventually 3 raised to the power 1 will give you a 3. Thank you so much for watching. Watch out for some more videos as we look at now equations involving indices.